Eduardo Bolsonaro is the son of Jair Bolsonaro. He's a Brazilian politician, lawyer, and federal deputy representing Sao Paulo, and he joins me now. So, Eduardo, you and I know each other well. We have watched your country go through great successes during your father's administration. We've seen some of the backsliding under Lula. What's your reaction to these new charges against your father?
Yeah, actually, for the American people, it's not hard to imagine because the lawfare that we're facing down there in Brazil is the same lawfare that Trump faced here. I usually say it's the same virus. The difference is that we have less antibodies in Brazil, which make things harder. But I really believe that we have a chance because with Trump here as president of the United States, you have not only a new wave all around the world, going down with prime ministers and raising other people from the right wing, but also, for example, the USA. USA, like Mike Pence said, if USA does not exist, Bolsonaro would still be the president of Brazil. So,
do you believe that? Do you believe that they didn't exist, that Lula would have lost the election?
100%. Because wow. How Mike Pence described the way that the money of your money, taxpayer, American taxpayer, was going to Brazil, it was to teach judges how to persecute their opponents, indoctrination in the media, coordination. If all of that they usually accuse us to do, actually they were doing. So it's unbelievable. That's why it explains how my father goes to the streets, even still nowadays, going to the streets. Everybody stop what they're doing to go there and ask for a picture, be together with President Bolsonaro. And Lula, I challenge you, ask someone from your team, try to find on YouTube, Google, whatever, a video of Lula going to the streets full of people. They don't have it. How can I explain that?
Well, the public polling seems to indicate if the election were held today, your father would defeat Lula. He's more popular, and in the polling we've seen, it'd be about a 5-point swing. Does your father plan to seek the presidency again if he's allowed to?
Yes. We have to overturn inside of the electoral court, because in Brazil you have the Superior Electoral Court, and they decide who can run, who cannot run. So my father, right after he stepped out from the presidency, this court said that he cannot run. Because two things. Because he met 40 ambassadors and did a live stream. It was actually a press conference too. And he was criticizing the electoral process in Brazil, something that he was doing for the last, 15 years.
So wait a second. If you criticize the way they run elections, they don't let you participate in the elections?
Yes.
That's crazy.
But if you had this kind of law here in the US, it wasn't only a mugshot in Georgia that Trump would take. Trump would be out of the ballots.
Well, that's totally undemocratic. Now, these allegations against your father are wild and fantastical. There is this plot described as green and yellow dagger, where there were going to be poisonings and assassinations.
Imagine that you're going to kidnap someone and poison. It doesn't make sense. We even make a joke, because as you had here January 6th, look how about the coincidences. Mm-hmm. I mean, here in the United States, the left and radical left, they create the ideas. And then they were testing there in Brazil, Colombia, Peru, even Albania, if you take a look there, Romania. And as you had the January 6th here, we had the January 8th in Brazil. Almost the same thing. And they say that my father was behind the scenes controlling the people. But wait a minute. They were trying to do a coup d'etat in January. January in Brazil is like August here. It's a whole vacation in the capital. In a Sunday, even Alexandre de Moraes, the justice for the Supreme Court, he was in Paris. And my father was in Orlando, in Disneyland. So imagine that. When you are not present anymore, you send elderly and ladies unarmed to do a coup d'etat in a moment that there is no one in the capital. And while they were there on the Congress or around our White House, Jair Bolsonaro was texting, go back home, don't do that. This is the big dictator of Brazil that now the Attorney General is asking for 38 years in jail for my father because of that. And we cannot expect a fair judgment because all of the justices that are going to judge my father, they are appointed by left-wing presidents, Lula and Dilma, plus Alexandre de Moraes, which is a personal enemy of Jair Bolsonaro.
Yeah, it seems in Brazil like the judiciary would be like playing a football match, but the referee is wearing the other team's jersey at the same time. And given the concerns you just expressed about an unfair system, do you think your father is going to have to do extended time in prison?
I think there is a possibility for that. We have to find a way to stop with Alexandre de Moraes. And we also have other opportunity that is inside of the Congress. There is a bill talking about amnesty for everybody from January 8th. So it would for sure include my father. I mean, he has nothing with that, but as they are charging him because of that. So we have these possibilities.
Do you think that will pass in the Congress?
I think we have a good opportunity, a good chance to do that. We have a new speaker at the House who is supporting us. In the Senate is so-so, but I think when you approve in the House, put the people on the streets, March 16th, we are going back to the streets because of that too. I think then we have the atmosphere to approve in the Senate too. That is a chance.
We have heard some commentators suggest that if these courts bar your father from being on the ballot and seeking the presidency, that you would be a very appealing candidate. If that were to happen, do you have plans to run for president of Brazil?
Matt, I really think that my father is going to overturn all of that. Sometimes we cannot imagine how. Imagine President Trump in 2021. How was him? Like even outside of social media, all the donors running far away from him and all of that. I remember that because I visited him in his office in New York at that time.
I think I saw you at Mar-a-Lago a time or two in calendar year 2021.
Yes. And so this is the moment that we are crossing now in Brazil. But after Trump's election, after all of that, after the shot on his ears, people start to compare with the stab that my father suffered from a radical left militant. These so many coincidences makes us have hope that we can also follow the path of the United States and go back with Bolsonaro as president. I think that is really unfair. You do not let him run because he met ambassadors and criticized the electoral process. And the other excuse that they created is because he made a public statement after September 7th, because it's our Independence Day. So we had a military parade, and after that he crossed the street, going to a square where we have, I don't know, almost 1 million people waiting for him. He did a speech. And the court, electoral court, said this was political abuse. Come on. So it's really unfair what is going on in Brazil. And I think God is looking to us. And on 2026, we will be even stronger in the Congress. And hope, going to the end of this answering, that we are going to have the same power of Bukele in El Salvador or Trump right now here with full majority in the House and in the Senate. God is reserving to us this moment too.
Trump, Bukele, Bolsonaro, that would be a triumvirate for the Western Hemisphere that would resist globalism and I think restore national pride in a lot of places. How's your dad just doing in all of this? When you get charged with crazy crimes, it must be shocking. Did he see it coming? What's his state like right now?
First, hopefully he's okay. But
when's the last time you talked to him?
Huh?
Have you talked to him recently?
With my father?
Yeah.
Yeah, almost every day. Almost every day I talk with him. Because I'm spending a lot of days here in the US as well,
sure,
talking with some people in the Congress and in the administration. But hopefully he's okay. This is 100%. He has at least 15 years working, and he's really hardworking. Never sleep. Unbelievable.
I know someone like that. He's our current president. If you had a message to President Trump as these conditions are evolving in Brazil, what would it be?
Actually, Trump is already helping, even if he doesn't know that, because when you cut USAID, NAD, Atlantic Council, all of the money of the American taxpayers to do not go anymore for censorship or indoctrination of the media, this is a huge help. But if I could ask something else more, I would say maybe send J.D.Vance to a visit in Brazil, official visit. It would be just unbelievable. If he repeats the same kind of speech that he had in Europe, it would be great for Brazil. And Mr. President, in Brazil, they fear you. They are, I cannot use the words that I would like to do because sometimes my grandma, she watches me, but they really fear you. They really believe that you can do a lot of things. And Alexandre de Moraes, this crazy justice from the Supreme Court, he's invading the jurisdiction of United States. The same thing that Karim Khan, the prosecutor of the ICC, did, Alexandre de Moraes is doing against the United States. So keep your people safe and protect them from this crazy virus from Alexandre de Moraes.